Hey everybody, this is my third in a row. This is just a series of great chapters that I just get excited about. This number 17 is another very exciting chapter for me, masters and leaders, and it really talks about having faith in oneself and faith in and how to keep faith in yourself, and how masters and institutions and leaders and all of that really has gotten in the way, or can get in the way, of our own maturing and our own maturation. So let's get right into it. Number 17 of Masters and Leaders. In the time of the great masters, there were no leaders. Then those whom the people loved led the way. After having created the position, the people feared their leaders. Then they despised them. Having created leaders, their faith in Tao was diminished. Having become a leader, his trust in the people was diminished. When there are great masters, there are no leaders. She works day and night and says nothing about it. When the work is done, the people say, "Amazing. We did it all by ourselves." So what that is addressing, what we're looking at here, is this idea that a master isn't going to lead. A master is just going to be. And in being, they're going to, there was this one line. I don't know if it was Taoist or if it was Confucian or if it comes from, some Stoic thing. Don't worry about what you want, right? Don't do what you want. Do what you need to do. Like mow the lawn, clean the dishes, clean the floor. Those are the things where you're going to find that calm. It's like, as an artist, I've had to deal a lot with people saying, "I make art because I have to." And it's like, yeah, but you still need to clean the dishes. So clean the dishes. Make that your art. I talk a lot about this idea that we're at the end of art, because art is going to be, it's going to be life. It's going to be mowing the lawn. That's going to be my art. It's like a performance, but I'm doing it with this intention of it being connected to everything. That's art. And that's what we're looking at here. That's the connection with Tao. Having created leaders, their faith in Tao was diminished. Once we created a leader, this is education is the leader. Oh, politics is the leader. Oh, money is the leader. Oh, this is the leader. Once we have any sort of leader, whether it's a person or an idol or a golden calf or whatever, once we create a leader, our faith in Tao is diminished. But our faith in Tao is what makes mowing the lawn an art form, and one that I can connect with everything through. Right. So that is what we're talking about. We don't need a leader. We don't need somebody to guide us to something for importance, right? Well, are you a productive member of society? Well, when your leader is money, or when your leader is politics, or when your leader is marketing, only so many people are going to be interested in being a productive member of society when there is a leader that they don't want to follow. So in the time of the great masters, there were no leaders, right? And there didn't need to be. We still don't need them, right? Because we still have great masters out here. They're just not being paid attention to, because the leaders are out there trying to tell everybody what to look at. Then those whom the people loved led the way. So when there are no leaders, eventually you find somebody, oh, you know what? This guy's a good guy. Let's look at him. Let's ask Bob down the block. I got a neighbor, Joe. I'm going to ask Joe anything about fixing my house and my car and stuff like that, because he knows, right? He will become the leader for me in these sorts of things, right? I'll be like, "Oh, Joe, can you give me a hand here and there?" And that's the thing. Then those whom the people loved led the way. And I love Joe. I think he's a great guy, and I'm going to ask him stuff. Now, I have faith in myself and my Tao and all of that. And so I do a lot on my own. But it's that's how a leader starts. Somebody starts to gain notoriety for knowing something, and people start turning to them. Just, oh, well, I know this person helped my other friend, right? And so I'm going to ask that person all about this subject that I'm struggling with. Now, once that happens, now everybody's following this person. After having created the position, we're going back to the verse, after having created the position, the people feared their leaders, then they despised them. Why do you think that is? Right? Why do you think that becomes part of this dissolution? Right? The people feared their leaders, then they despised them. The idea being, well, I don't want the leader to tell me how I have to, like, this is like, let's look at homeowners associations, right? Well, once we created the position of a homeowners association, now we're stuck with dealing with the homeowners association. I don't have one, thank God. But that's the thing. Once you create one, now there is a box in which you have to. And so now it's like, oh, I want to put this wind chime up, but I'm afraid that they're going to say something, da, da, da. And then you put it up and they say something and now you hate them. Now it's like, oh, they won't let me put up my own like welcome mat. They won't let me put up my own wind chime. I can't mow the lawn on Thursday night when I'm home. I can't, like, all of these rules got in place. Why? Because the leaders are in place, and the leaders are no longer, because it goes down, right? First, you're just like, oh, I love my neighbor in 2B. He's going to be a great homeowners association. And it starts wonderfully, but then he passes away, and then you find a way to elect a new leader, but that leader only wants to be a leader so he can control other people. He's not a master, right? The original person was a master. The guy who was living in 2B was a master, and that's why you turn to him, and that's why he didn't care. But then you have your leaders. Having created the leaders, people fear their leaders, then they despise them. Now, having created leaders, their faith in Tao was diminished, because now nothing is going. You're not aligned with yourself. You're aligned with your leader. You're aligned with what you're moving towards. You're not aligned with who you are. You now have a leader, and your faith in yourself, your faith in Tao is diminished, because you're like, I want to put up a wind chime, but I can't. and then you're like, okay, well, I can't put up a wind chime. Might as well not even look at them. And you don't get to follow your heart, because you have a leader, and the leader is saying what you can and cannot do. And so this is why you're fearing your leaders or despising your leaders. And then there's an interesting line. Having become a leader, his trust in the people was diminished, right? Now we're moving away from the people who inadvertently created the leader, and we're looking at the person who became the leader. They became the leader, and they're all like, look at me, I'm the leader. And then while they are saying, well, no, you can't have wind chimes because wind chimes are going to bother other people and all of this thing. But really, it's just going to bother you, as the leader. And so your faith in the people to make the right choice is being diminished. It's being ripped from you, because every chance you get, you're like, I'm trying to make this a good place. And in order to be a good place, you can't have wind chimes, right? But it's like, those two don't have anything to do with one another. But your position as the leader, you start to think that you know better than the people. And that's what's happened in politics, and that's what's happened in marketing, and that's what's happened in the media, right? These are our leaders: politics, education, marketing, media, like all of these things. Like, they're the leaders. We made Zuckerberg a leader. His faith in us is diminished, and we despise him, hopefully, right? Same with Amazon guy. I can't think of his name right now. So Amazon guy's out there. His faith in us is diminished. He doesn't care about us. He's going to sell us as much stuff as he can. And he's going to rip apart all of like the small stores and small towns and stuff just because he can. And he's going to do that, and we're going to hate him for it. And he's going to have no faith in us to be able to do what we want and be who we are. And our connection with Tao is going to be continually diminished. When there are great masters, there are no leaders. And we can look to great masters who aren't looking to gain, aren't looking to build, aren't looking to to manipulate. There's no need for leaders. She works all day and night and says nothing about it, just going about her business. This is what I call quietly going about your business. When the work is done, the people say, amazing, we did it all by ourselves. And she is quietly continuing to work, quietly going about her business, doing what she needs to do. Because like I said earlier, it's not about what you want to do, but doing what you need to do. And then in that way, you don't require a leader, because a leader tries to get you to do what they want you to do. And then you want to do that to make your leader happy, whatever that leader is, whether that leader is the education system or the political system or the economic system or whatever. Maybe it's a person, maybe it's a thing, maybe it's an idea. But those leaders are manipulating us, and we are under their influence. And in order to get out from under their influence, we have to restore our faith in Tao. Thank you so much for joining me once again. I don't know. I think I'm going to stop for today. That was a really great ancient Tao, stillness and integration. I did all three, 15, 16, and 17 all together because they're juicy. They're juicy, beautiful verses. So thank you so much for joining me. And until next time, as always, keep recovering yourself.